This episode of Switchcraft is brought to you by patrons like Logan Keller. Support Switchcraft and my other content for as little as $1 and get exclusive rewards at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. All right, we'll name that patron. Let me just check. I want to see how the audio is there. That seems low. That seems low. Let's try that again. This episode of... Ooh, man, too much peaking right there. Holy cow. Let's try that again. This episode of Switchcraft is brought to you by patrons like Logan Keller. Support Switchcraft and my other content for as little as $1 and get exclusive rewards at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. All right, that peaked around 9, so that's good. So we'll name that patron. I know Captain Logan's not here. He's got things to do, I think. What is the Oh, you're going to TwitchCon, Rezd? I see the little icons there. That's cool. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on episode 91 of Switchcraft, and just a reminder to everyone, I record this podcast live at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. You can find that on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. and Saturdays at an unknown time. All right, I'll always just post when it happens. So make sure that you follow me on Twitter so you get notifications, and follow me on Twitch so that you get notifications. Let's jump in to a review. We got a review from, oh my gosh, I did not write down who it came from. So let me pause and locate that information. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to get a new phone. This thing is so slow. This phone is 3 years old. All right. So Nintendo Switch. And I got to go to all of the reviews. See all. And then I got to scroll forever. I know, it's like I've never had a phone this old. I always replace them. Oh, okay, there we go. So it was John R126. All right. Well, I went and found out who wrote the review. It was John with many N's, followed by an R726. Thank you very much for the review. They said, I switched from NVC to your podcast. For those of you that are not sure what NVC is, that's Nintendo Voice Chat. That's IGN's Nintendo show. They said, you are short and right to the point on Switch news. These games like Skyrim and Doom I've never played. I'm much more of a sports game person. With my birthday coming up, FIFA and NBA are a must. But for the holiday season, I'm not sure which game I should get. And your show keeps changing my mind. Keep up the good work. Well, there's certainly a lot of stuff coming at the end of the year. As somebody who does not play very sports games, I would be the wrong person to recommend a game to you, but I will say that in December, Xenoblade 2 comes out, and I am very excited for that game. So hopefully you pick out something that you really like. I'm curious as to what you think of FIFA not letting you play against your friends. We'll talk about that a little bit further down the show. In addition, I got an email at runjumpstomp@gmail.com. It says replying via the NES and Super Nintendo classics. They said, after wasting several months of my life trying to score an NES classic and later a Super Nintendo classic, I finally got fed up with Nintendo's incompetence and went ahead and built an emulation station using a Raspberry Pi. I now have a better experience with more games, including non-Nintendo consoles and wireless controllers. I can only devote so much time of the day stalking online sites, even using services like Now in Stock, which often didn't respond fast enough for a handful of minutes. For the handful of minutes things become available. So if Nintendo isn't going to take these devices seriously enough to want my money, then lots of people like me are going to have moral shifts in order to obtain the same or better experience. All right, so I just want to reply to that first. I totally get where you're coming from. If you want to play these games and Nintendo is not producing enough systems, making it just way too hard to get your hands on these systems, then the moral proclivity that I have that tells me that I shouldn't do this kind of wears away after a while when you keep trying to find a way to give them your money. So I don't blame you for getting a Raspberry Pi. I've got a Raspberry Pi. I've got RetroPie running on it. And I've got games on there that are not on the Super Nintendo Classic or the NES Classic. It is a very, very good experience without a doubt. I do think that the emulation is better on the Super Nintendo Classic than on my RetroPie, but that could just be, because I haven't tried certain things or because it's not optimized well enough. I mean, who knows? I don't know enough about that to say one way or the other, but I totally get where you're coming from. All right, then they continued. They said the Metroid poll. They said, I actually jumped from the original Nintendo right to the Wii, having switched to PC gaming in the interim. I just remembered what he's talking about. Okay, so last episode, or maybe 2 episodes ago, I asked, what do you guys think? Would you want them to remake these Metroid games, or do you want them to focus on new ones? So he's responding to that, or she. I don't remember the name. They said, so I'd happily play whatever Metroid games for the Switch get produced. Metroid is my second favorite franchise after Zelda. Despite having an emulation box, the appeal of playing portably and in HD would be sufficient for me to buy remakes of games I already can emulate the originals of. Then they said, regarding FIFA 18 sales, last episode I said that FIFA... it was reported that FIFA Switch was 1% of all FIFA sales. So let's read what they have to say here. It said, not all Nintendo Switch owners are sports fans. Not all sports fans are FIFA soccer fans. And not all Switch-owning soccer fans are fans of bloated, crippled games where the save files are almost the size of the entirety of Super Mario Odyssey. And he's not exaggerating there. The save file for FIFA on the Switch is really big, and I don't understand why, but let's move on. They said you can't play online with your friends, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. And then they went on to say incompetence and laziness should not be rewarded. And if EA is going to use this as a metric for whether they bring additional games to the Switch, well, that's their loss. Meanwhile, we've got plenty of other games to play. There's only so many hours in the day anyway. Okay, so let's talk about that for just a little bit. You're totally right. I just knocked over something. There are a ton of games on the Switch, way more than I have time to play right now. Honestly, way more than I have time to play. And so if EA doesn't bring games over to the Switch, then it's really not going to bother me all that much. That being said, EA said that they were using FIFA as a litmus test to see whether or not we thought that, or we wanted to get games from EA. But I think that was really more of a marketing strategy. They were trying to get you to buy a game that you may not have otherwise bought. That's how I feel about it anyway. Because any developer that is looking at how well the Switch is selling if they aren't planning on making games for the system, then they just hate money, because the Switch is selling really, really well, and it is clearly a success. Now, some people might say that EA only said that because it was unclear as to whether or not the Switch was going to be a success, but I really do believe that when that quote came out, it was just marketing. It was just marketing. They were just trying to get us to buy a game that we might pass on otherwise because it's not our kind of game. That being said, hopefully I'm wrong. I hope that EA brings some games over so that people are able to play whatever game that they want on the system that they want. However, I would also be okay with them not porting games to the system because most EA stuff is just not for me. That being said, let's move on. There's a lot of different ways that you can get a hold of me. You can email me, like I said, runjumpstomp@gmail.com. You can tweet at me at runjumpstomp on Twitter. You can call and leave a voicemail. That's 260-RUN-JUMP. That's 260-786-5867. And of course, you can always get a hold of me on the Discord at runjumpstomp.com/Discord. Time for the news. Let's see. Yeah, I have the 6 Plus. It is ancient. You have to charge many times a day. It's been horrible. Mine makes it through the day every day. Every single day, my phone makes it through the day. Arislia says, I'm curious about XCOM 2. Never been... Oh, wait. XCOM 2 or Xenoblade? Xenoblade 2. Okay. If you don't like JRPGs, you're not going to like Xenoblade. It's very much dyed-in-the-wool JRPG. You have the Pixel XL. I considered getting the Pixel XL, or the new Pixel XL. I think it looks great. And the Google Assistant is way better. Way, way, way better than Siri. But I have an Apple TV. I have an iPad. My wife has an iPhone. My daughter has an iPhone. They both have Apple Watches. My daughter bought her own Apple Watch. I've got an Apple Watch. I don't see myself buying a Pixel, even though I would very much prefer that. What's the word I'm looking for? That digital assistant, because I think it's much better. Google's is much, much better. Hopefully Siri improves over time, but I doubt it. Is the Apple Watch good? I love it for workouts and stuff. Like I was using it today for as my timer. I mean, a regular watch. It's a luxury. It's a luxury that I'm lucky that my wife let me get. You're using Overcast too? See, I use Pocketcasts. Pocketcast is my my podcatcher of choice. I think it's fantastic. It does all the same things that Overcast does. I don't know if Overcast has a battery issue or not. All right, let's do the news. Well, we finally have a patch to Sonic Mania. It's surprising to me how long it took to get this patch. And by the way, this story is courtesy of Wyvern Ripsnarl from the Discord. He posted this in the Switchcraft Stories channel, so thank you very much for that. But Thomas Whitehead, who's in charge of the Sonic Mania, I guess I don't want to say franchise, but the Sonic Mania development, he said Sonic Mania is pretty darn good, but it can be a tad buggy at times, from minor issues to problems that have frustrated some players. It's taken a short while. I disagree there. It's taken a long while. But the first update to tackle fixes seems to be rolling out. The official social channels for the most mascot news have announced the new Sonic Mania patch is rolling out, adding the Supersonic button and fixes the Switch home button and other bugs. So the home button that I'm talking about is this issue where when you would hit the home button, like the console would just hang and it wouldn't go back to the home screen. And it's really noticeable because everything else on the Switch is super, super snappy, really quick and responsive UI. So it was kind of an eyesore and it really drove people crazy. But that's been fixed now. So when you hit home, instantaneous, just like everything else, you go right back to the home screen. So that's fantastic. The other thing that they're talking about is the Y button, or not the Y button, the X button. And so when you're playing the game and after you've gotten all Chaos Emeralds, and sorry if this is a spoiler, skip forward like 2 minutes and you'll be over it. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, hopefully you skipped by now. So as I was saying, if you've gotten all the Chaos Emeralds at the end of the game and you go back and play it again, and Sonic is a game that's always been really focused on replayability and going back through the levels over and over and finding a faster path, and it's really fun. But after you've gotten all the Chaos Emeralds, I've said now for the 4th time it feels like, if you are playing again and you pick up 50 coins, it would turn you into a Super Sonic or some other character. Different characters had different modes that they would turn into. Well, sometimes you don't want to be supersonic. Sometimes you want it to be optional. So they added it as a button. So now on the Switch, if you have finished the game, gotten all the emeralds, going back and playing through again, and you pick up 50 rings, you can hit the X button to activate your supersonic mode, but you don't have to have it activated. You can just skip it. You can leave it alone and ignore it if you want. And I think it's good that they added that because maybe you want to play through and listen to the original music, or maybe you want to play through and you're just trying to get better at this one level, and you don't want to turn into supersonic because you want to have it be the same all the time. So anyway, I'm glad that they finally fixed it. It took a really long time to fix it, and I wish it had come sooner. If the home menu button fix was enough to get me to stop playing that game, which is a shame because that game is fantastic. If you haven't picked up Sonic Mania, I highly recommend the game, and especially now that that was my one gripe with the game was the home menu button. So they fixed that, so it's fantastic. Pick it up. Sonic. TF Wagner says, I listen to podcasts and don't listen to this. Oh, Arisley says, I only ever listen to Switchcraft, so I just use Google Play Music. Oh, okay. Now that you're listening live, you don't usually listen. Well, make sure you still download it, because those downloads, the downloads help me get review copies. Yeah, I do auto download on all of my podcasts. That's one thing that I really like about Pocketcasts, and I know that Overcast can do this too. But it'll automatically download every episode of the podcast that I subscribe to, and then it automatically deletes all but the last 2 episodes of every podcast that I listen to. So when I am looking for something to listen to, I just look through and see if there's anything that catches my eye. Like there's some podcasts that I listen to every single week. But there's some that I'll only listen to if it's like an interview with somebody that I really want to, like Nerdist. Nerdist is fantastic. It's a really great podcast, but it's also really long usually. And so I'll usually only take the chance to listen to it if they're interviewing somebody that I've heard of that I really like. So I really like Pocket Cast myself. All right, what are we doing here? Okay. Well, earlier I was telling you how Nintendo has been selling the Switch like crazy. It seems like it's going to be a whole lot better, because right now it's up until recently it's been pretty tough to pick up a Switch. They've been hard to find. But this is an article from Digitimes, and it says that Nintendo has recently raised its order for the Nintendo Switch to 2 million units a month, because of the product's surging demand, and the vendor is expected to be able to achieve its annual shipment target of 20 million units for 2017. And this is according to the sources in the supply chain. That's crazy. 20 million in the first year. If that's true, that means that the Switch will have outsold the Wii U, which the Wii U only sold 13.6 million units in its lifetime. The Switch will outsell it in the first year. That's pretty crazy. People in Japan are still standing in huge lines to line up for a lottery ticket to hope to be able to pick up a Switch. This thing is, people say artificial scarcity. People are always levying that accusation at Nintendo, artificial scarcity. I don't think that's what it is. I think their products are just selling really, really well, and that's why you can't find them anywhere. Yes, there is also the issue where you've got scalpers that show up and buy tons of them. But if those scalpers weren't doing it, it might make it easier for you to pick up the system that you want. I don't think this is about artificial scarcity, because every single month after month after month, if you look at the initial sales of the PS4 and the initial sales of the Switch is outselling it and sold out every single time. Every month. It's insane how fast the Switch is selling. And them upgrading to 2 million units per month on order that's a hefty order. That's really impressive, because the opening month was a little bit less than 2 million units. So it seems like the Switch is just making more and more sales each time, and that's impressive. We'll just say sales. Yeah, I would like to use Google Play Music. I like it better than Apple Music, but my whole family uses our Apple Music family plan, and they all have their playlists and stuff that they've made. So switching would be kind of a pain, I think. Not for me. I don't mind. It'd be a pain for them. Honestly, I really don't listen to Apple Music all that much. What I usually listen to are... I usually listen to podcasts. I really don't listen to music. Yeah, that's true. And on top of that, you can also like listen to it on a browser, which I really like. Whereas iTunes or Apple Music, you got to install iTunes, which is kind of a pain. All right. Well, I mentioned this last episode that one of the reasons I think that the Switch version of FIFA 18 didn't sell as well as the others is because you can't play against your friends online. This is really irritating to me. Now, the reason that it bothers me so much is because a lot of people are blaming Nintendo for this, and I will tell you this, Nintendo has done a really crappy job with the online features of the Switch. It's no big surprise. Nintendo always tends to fall down when it comes to online features. I don't know if it's ignorance or arrogance. It's really tough to tell. But the problem that some people think is that Nintendo Switch doesn't have this built-in invite system, and it doesn't have a party system. So because of the bare bones online, the developers of FIFA 18 just decided not to bother with it at all, which is really just poor decision making, I think, on my part. I mean, if you think about it, there are some Switch games that let you play with your friends, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or ARMS. You can play with your friends on Splatoon 2. Now, you're not guaranteed to be on the same team as them, but you can play with your friends. I can see that one of my friends is in a match on Splatoon 2, and I can hit a button and join it. That is something that is available on the Switch. And on FIFA 18, it's not available. So Eurogamer.net asked EA about it, and their response is terrible. They said, FIFA 18 on Switch offers local seasons, allowing friends to play against each other across two consoles in close proximity to another. And we encourage those looking to compete online to take advantage of the online modes on Switch, including FIFA Ultimate Team, Online Season, and online tournaments. So they did not answer the question at all. Why didn't they include the ability to play with their friends? It almost seems like EA wants FIFA 18 to fail. Now, I don't believe that that's true for a second. I don't think that EA set out to make a game that was going to fail on purpose. That's just dumb. They wouldn't do that. So I don't think that that's true, even though a lot of people are saying that. Eurogamer reached out to them again, and they said, wait, but you haven't answered the actual question. All you did was say, get over it and play local multiplayer with your friends or play against randos online. So I think that this is not Nintendo's fault. And I'm not saying that Nintendo did a good job with online, because I don't think that they did. I think that there's a lot of things that they could have done much, much better as far as online with the Switch. But the fact that FIFA 18 can't set it up so that you can play with another player, or I'm sorry, a friend in a match, I think that's on EA. That is on EA, in my opinion. And, you can feel free to disagree with me if you want. runjumpstomp@gmail.com. Aerslia in chat says, what do you mean the online's bad? The online's right there. Well, yeah, you can play online, but I think that there's definitely some issues. So first off, they offloaded the voice onto a third device unnecessarily. And I don't really like that. It works fine, but it's not the most elegant solution, in my opinion, and I don't want to have a third device for it. When we were waiting for the Switch to come out, and they told us that they were going to be doing it on the phone, a lot of people were like, okay, or at least I was waiting for them to explain why we would want to do this. And they never sold it to me. They have never explained why I want to have a third or a second device in order to talk to my friends online. That's kind of a problem to me. The other thing that Nintendo did poorly with online is on Splatoon, when I want to join a friend, if we want to play together, I might join them, but we might be on opposite teams. And that kind of bothers me, because I would prefer to be on the team with my friend, so then we can communicate using the voice app and be like, all right, well, I just took a bunch of damage over here, and watch out, there's somebody over here that has an ink cannon. That kind of stuff. And honestly, they should have a system-wide thing where I can just go into my friends list and see that you're playing a certain game, and then hit a button and join you in that game and have the game automatically launch. Instead, what I have to do is go into Mario Kart 8 and see who's playing there, and then go out and then go into ARMS and see who's playing there, and then go out and go into Splatoon 2 and see who's playing there. And it's just kind of a pain, and I don't like it. So... Oh, and then Aerslia is clarifying. They said, I meant that's basically what EA's response was. So I think that they actually agree with me. So sorry about that, Aerslia. But anyway, like I said, I think that Nintendo did a crappy job with making the online experience good. Hence why it's still free. They're going to start charging for it in January. And it's a good thing that they're going to give out free, to give out some classic games with your subscription. Otherwise, I don't think anybody would use it. That being said, I think that the issue with FIFA falls on EA and not Nintendo in this particular case. Hopefully EA patches it, because I know that there's a couple people who's been talking about FIFA in the Discord, and I bet you they would like to play against each other, but they can't because they don't live near each other. It's just silly to expect us to only want to play a game with people that are only nearby. There are many people out there who, like most of my friends, don't play games. A vast majority of the people who I am friends with do not play video games. There's like 2 or 3 that I know that play video games, and everybody else thinks video games are dumb. And that's fine. I've got a lot of people online that I play games with. Those are the people that I hang out with in games, is the people on my Discord and online and stuff like that. I don't have friends come over to play games usually. That's just not something we do. We usually do other things when people are over. Anyway, I've gone on and on about this. Let's talk about something else. Hey, KHY Official, how's it going? You're very official. All right, EA. All right, let's do the gameplay. So since the last time that hold on. Let's try that again. What's KHY stand for anyway? Since the last episode, I've been playing my Super Nintendo Classic. I've gotten, I think I'm up to 3 stars in Super Mario RPG. That game is awesome. I am avoiding playing anything else on the Super Nintendo until I finish Super Mario RPG. That's going to be the rule, I hope. That's going to be what I'm hoping to be the rule for my Super Nintendo, is that I'm going to finish a game before I move on to another one. I've also been checking out a couple of other games. My son has confiscated my Switch because I got a review code for... oh my gosh, what's the name of the game? I keep forgetting. The one with the digging, SteamWorld Dig 2. There we go. I got a review code for SteamWorld Dig 2, and he started playing it, and he has been absolutely loving that game. So he's having a ball with that. And so that means I haven't had much chance to play my Switch. However, I did get a couple of review codes today and yesterday. I got a review code for Pankapu, which is this cool side scroller. I'm not really going to talk about it too much because I haven't played it enough to talk about it. I also got a review code for Earth Atlantis, and right as I got home from work today, I got a review code for Stardew Valley. So I have got a lot of stuff that I need to get through. Plus, I still need to get back through Thimbleweed Park. So that's awesome. But mostly, I've just been working on Super Mario RPG. Let's do the lightning round now. 16 hours, 22 minutes for the main story. That's cool. I'm probably about 10 hours in, but my 10 hours... I did get my review copy, Arslia. Thank you. My 10 hours is going to be... I'll be further behind than most people will be at 10 hours, because the first 3 hours, you know, I was stopping and talking to you guys while I was streaming a bunch. And... I get distracted easily when I'm playing games, so I'll be doing something. I'll be doing 12 things at once, which I shouldn't do. But that really slows me down in games for how long it takes me to finish them. We'll name that gameplay. All right, time for the lightning round. All right, here we've got the lightning round. In the lightning round, I don't talk quite as much about each topic. We're going to start by looking at the design documents of the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is via Kotaku, so I would recommend that you check out the link in the show notes. It's a pretty cool article about the Breath of the Wild, their design documents. And they did really cool things, like they were very conscious of when you're playing the game, they wanted you to notice things to distract you. That's one of the things that jumped out to me, is they did that on purpose. They wanted players to get distracted all the time, because that makes for a fantastic gaming experience. And just check out the link in the show notes. We also have ARMS is coming to the comics via Dark Horse Comics. We're going to be getting an ARMS comic, which is really cool because I really like the characters in ARMS, and Nintendo's done a great job with the world building, but they haven't told us much about the characters. Kind of like how Blizzard has not told us much about the Overwatch characters, but there's a lot of stuff that we know. So I'm looking forward to finding out more information about the ARMS characters via the comic. Hopefully it's not too expensive, because I haven't bought a comic in ages. And on top of, speaking of multiplayer games on the Switch, Splatoon is getting a brand new stage. This is also thanks to Wyvern Rip Snarl in our Discord channel, runjumpstomp.com/Discord. This comes via a tweet from Nintendo of Europe. The new stage, Snapper Canal, arrives in Splatoon 2 tomorrow. So that was, that's today. So on the 6th, which is tomorrow, is when we'll get this new stage. They said, be careful not to fall in the river that runs through the middle. It looks like they've got this this bridge with a bunch of stuff underneath the bridge. So it looks like you're playing underneath a bridge, but then there's a canal going through the middle. I got to play some more Splatoon. I haven't played that game in quite a while, but with all of the other stuff that I'm playing recently, I just have not had time. But anyway, thank you to Wyvern for posting that in the Discord. It always makes putting the show notes together easier when I can look into the Switchcraft Stories channel in the Discord and find some stuff from you guys. Anyway, coming soon, well, we've got all of these are on October 6th. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and Bowser Minions for the 3DS. Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel, and the Millionaire's Conspiracy, also for the 3DS, and also on October 6th for the Nintendo Switch, Oxenfree. So those games are coming out on October 6th, and the next episode is on the 7th, so we'll talk about what comes out after that next time. All right, back and record. That is all the time that we have for today. If there's a story that I missed or a topic that you would like discussed, please let me know. If you are going to do that, you can do so by emailing me, runjumpstomp@gmail.com. You can tweet at me, runjumpstomp, or at runjumpstomp on Twitter. You can call the phone number 260-RUNJUMP. That's 260-786-5867. And of course, join the Discord at runjumpstomp.com/Discord. Thank you to people who support the show, our patrons. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. You make it so much easier for me to justify the time that goes into recording, editing, and researching for the show. If you're looking for ways to support the show that are absolutely free, just head on over to runjumpstomp.com/support, and there you will find a link to my Amazon page where you can buy the things that you normally buy, and I will get a cut, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. And for some reason, Amazon will send me money for you using that link, so it really makes things easy. My wife has an Etsy shop, which she is coming up with some brand new pencil pouches that she's working on. She made I don't have one up here, for crying out loud. Do you think I would have brought one? She made one yesterday. She's going to start putting up non-geek fabric as well as the geek fabric that we've been using before. But keep an eye on the Etsy shop for favorite the shop, and that way you'll see when she posts the new stuff. And just share the show with a friend. That always helps. Thank you to Audible for sponsoring the show. Head on over to runjumpstomp.com/audible, and thank you to Noteblock and Tom Winter for the use of your music. Make sure that you guys check out their YouTube channels, because their music is freaking awesome. All right. I'll see you guys on Saturday. Bye-bye.